Welcome to Light Novel Sound, where we bring incredible light novels to life through immersive audiobooks you can enjoy for free. Today, we're diving into Weapon Seller in the World of Magic, a thrilling fantasy novel written by Snowstar and originally published on lightnovelworld.co. Meet Mark Spencer, a genius military weapon designer who was kidnapped and forced to create advanced weapons for the mafia, until he finally escaped, only to be betrayed and shot by his own comrades. But instead of dying, he wakes up in another world as Lu Zhen, armed with a powerful weapon system that lets him bring modern firepower into a realm ruled by magic. Bows and arrows? Outdated. Flying carpets? Obsolete. Fighting dragons? Why struggle when you can drop a nuclear bomb? Watch as Lu Zhen changes the balance of power in this world, introducing firearms, fighter jets, and war machines no one has ever seen before. If you enjoy this audiobook, please support the original work by reading Weapon Seller in the World of Magic on lightnovelworld.co. And if you like what we do, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps us continue bringing amazing stories to life. Now, sit back and enjoy the action. Chapter 36.3, The Might of a Battle Tank, Part 3. With the low success rate mounting up his debts, Mark decided to switch to secondary weapons. But he doesn't know which one to use. So, he decided to compare the two of them before deciding on which to stock up in the storage chamber and later, bombard his enemies with the ammo. He first clicked on the image of grenade. The details appeared. 40mm grenade. Grade, not applicable. Price, 5 gold coins. Only 5 gold coins. A frown appeared on Mark's face. He didn't expect that cost of a 40mm grenade is far lower than 120mm. Like the 9mm bullet, as there was no description, Mark speculated that a grenade's strength might be entire realm lower than the former. And if that were the case, will the machine gun's power is much lower? Mark closed it and then clicked on 12.7mm this time. C16. Grade, not applicable. Price, 1 gold coin. Oh, boy, this one's far lower than the grenade. Well, it was a piece of good news, but I can't help but feel low. This one is definitely useless against 5-circle realm and above stage warriors. Letting out a sigh, Mark decided to choose grenade. But, before that, he also wanted to check the success rate of each of the ammunition to form a plan. Mark first checked the 12.7mm ammos by clicking on Create. A familiar notification arrived. Ding! 12.7mm ammunition has only an 80% success rate of creation. Do you want to proceed? 80%, here. Mark fell into thoughts. He was satisfied that it was far better than the 120mm ones, but at the same time, he also knew that their power would be far weaker. So, he wasn't that dependent on this, right now. Mark clicked on No and then went to 40mm ammo. Ding! 40mm ammunition has only a 60% success rate of creation. Do you want to proceed? And this one's 60. Mark fell into a dilemma for a while. At first, he was already decided on grenade, but the success rates throw off his mind for a moment. Now, he has but 3 options. First is the cannon, low success rate but high power. Second is the machine gun, high success rate but low power. And third is the grenade launcher, medium success rate but medium power. Bam! It was at that moment Mark felt another tremor as the tank was hit by a powerful skill attack from the side. It was so powerful that a 68-ton tank was moved a few inches by force. A tiny dent was visible. Ding! Battle Tank V durability is reduced by 0.5%. This FR has been irritating me. Mark got angered and no longer thought straight. Why should I form a careful strategy? Let's just create every type and go on berserk. Bodyguard Ren Huang would have never thought of how his actions brought a disaster upon himself and his employer. Mark clicked on grenade. Ding! You failed to create a 40mm grenade. The success rate increases by 6%. 5 gold coins have been added to the debt. And what was I expecting? Mark felt like another headache is going on come on his way because of his low amount of luck points. Taking a deep breath, Mark attempted for the second time. Thankfully, he got a piece of good news and brought a little bit of peace to his mind. Ding! You successfully created a 40mm grenade. 5 gold coins have been added to the debt. Please check your inventory. Ding! You failed to create a 40mm grenade. Ding! Ding! You successfully created a 40mm grenade. Ding! You successfully created a 40mm grenade. Ding! Ding! Little more than 15 minutes had gone by and Mark was occupied in creating grenades one after the other while the battle tank was being bombarded by attacks one after the other. Song Yun was getting impatient because of the lack of a result. While none of the onlookers intervened in the situation, the matter was already reached to the palace and a team of elite soldiers was deployed to take care of the situation. However, because of his pride, Song Yun didn't allow anyone to step into the compound. In the meantime, the steward of the mansion, another 5-circle realm warrior, joined Ren Huang. When both of them weren't able to do anything against the defenses of the battle tank, Inspector himself came down and issued a warning to surrender. But Mark was busy with creating the grenades. He turned deaf ear to the warning. As there was no reply, the inspector felt embarrassed and decided to join the both of them to take it down while one of the prefects left the mansion to bring back more force. The 3 5-circle realm experts are attacking the sturdy battle tank left and right with all of their strength. By now, many people speculated that this might be a new type of puppet controlled by someone. Because of the protection by the system, no one was able to sense the presence of Alan and Mark either. So, Ren Huang also stopped targeting the sturdy entrance doors located on top of the tank. Meanwhile, inside the tank, Mark was feeling tremors continuously, but he was too much focused on creation. He wasn't caring how much the debt is piling up or how much the durability of the tank is being reduced. Ding! You successfully created a 40mm grenade. 5 gold coins have been added to the debt. Please check your inventory. Okay, 50 have been created. Now, let's stock up the other ammunition. But, first, let's load them. He opened the inventory and saw the ammunition was stacked together. He clicked on it. Ding! You summoned Battle Tank V. Please choose one of the options. 1. Summon in hand. 2. Transfer into the storage chamber. Transfer. Ding! 40mm grenade has been transferred to the storage chamber. Ding! The grenade launcher is empty. Autoload feature is activated. 140mm grenade has been loaded automatically. After transferring all the grenades into the storage chamber, Mark now set his eyes on the other ammo. Open Creation Gallery. This time, instead of failure or success, a surprising notification appeared on the screen as soon as he created the ammunition. Ding! You selected 12.7mm. Choose an option. 1. Single. 2. Bulk. Comes with belt. Second one seemed risky. But it is 80%. So, I can take a risk for saving a large amount of time and work. Mark inquired with the system regarding the bulk option. Ding! The bulk option will let the host create a maximum of 108 ammunitions at the same time. However, they will be joined together by the belt and can only be loaded or sold together. What about the failure option? Mark asked further. Ding! Either all will be successful or all will be failed. The bonus percentage from failures is not applicable for this option. As I thought, it is risky, but I don't have time to waste. Ding! You selected bulk. Please wait for a moment. 10 seconds later. Ding! You failed to create C16, bulk. 108 gold coins have been added to the debt. Damn it. It's an 80% success rate. And yet, Mark's anger reached the maximum. His eyes turned red while his veins are almost popping out as he tightly grabbed the steering controls. Create bulk. Ding! You selected bulk. Please wait for a moment. Ding! You successfully created C16, bulk. Please check out the inventory. Ding! You successfully created C-16, bulk. 5 minutes later. Steward Bai Chen was standing on top of the tank while relentlessly attacking with the sword even though the others gave up. Feels gazes at him. Song Yun came downstairs and watched it from the entrance door. Swallowing a pill and temporarily boosting his attack power by onefold, the steward unleashed his ultimate skill. A giant flame sword was forming in the sky with his blade pointing towards the tank just like how he gripped the sword. What is that? The inspector who was taking a break saw one of the guns suddenly turned its direction, aiming at the back of the enemy. Uncle Bai, behind you! Ren Huang warned him with a shout. Boom! Chapter 37.4 The Might of a Battle Tank, Part 4. Grabbing the controls of the grenade launcher, Mark looked at the screen. An old man in butler uniform was unleashing a skill. He doesn't know whether it is powerful or not, but it was indeed flashy. Mark opened the stats of the vehicle. In the past 20 minutes, the tank's durability decreased by nearly 14% with scratches and small dents all over its body. You dare to harm my baby? I'll not leave you alive. He gritted his teeth in anger, deciding on his first target. Let you serve as a guinea pig for my test. He clicked on the trigger. On the outside, top of the tank, Steward Bai Chen was about to strike this metal thing with unimaginable defense. Just right then, the grenade launcher which stayed still until now turned its direction and aimed at his back. Boom! Ah! Bai Chen shouted a cry of pain as something pierced from behind, breaking the backbone and embedded inside. There was no detonation but still, the target flew a few meters away from the tank, crashing onto the ground. Although not dead, he was still not in a condition to even move as he lost his consciousness. He will be soon with massive blood loss. Okay, that's not bad. Mark was satisfied with the outcome. He then asked the system the details of the grenade as he found out that this wasn't a direct explosion on impact type. Ding! 40mm grenade made by the system comes with a safety feature, where the explosion occurs only after it reaches 450 spins. As this ammunition goes at 90 m/second and spins with 7,500 rpm, it needs at least 3 seconds for a blast to occur. And once the requirements are met, they will be detonated upon impact. 7,500 hair. Mark mumbled to himself. He shrugged his shoulders, turning his attention to the screens. Can't be compared to my baby grenade G57 which has a spin of 18,000 rpm, but anyway, let's focus on the current situation. He then carefully observed the screen, looking for someone that offended him. Now, where is that rat that troubling me from a while ago? Thankfully, for him, this personal bodyguard even appeared right in front of him. Good. Uncle Bai. Ren Huang was looked after by the steward. So, he had a bit of affection towards the old man. Hurry, take him away. 2 of the 4 Circle Realm guards that are standing far away, in a different direction from the cannon, hurried towards the unconscious body. Meanwhile, Ren Huang stared at the battle tank in rage. He took the same blue pill that the injured old man took. A tremendous amount of ether energy was bursting from him. Watching him through the screen, Mark shook his head. You will only get revenge only if you were alive. However, you have to pay action for serving Song Yun and damaging my vehicle. As he was standing only a few meters away from the tank, Mark felt it was too wasteful to use grenades on him. His theories can't be confirmed either. So, he decided to switch to a machine gun with even lesser power but has high speed. Switching the seats, he grabbed the controls of the machine gun. He locked on the target. Bang bang. He pressed the trigger and held on to it. On the outside, Ren Huang saw that this time, another gun was changing its direction, aiming towards him. Ren Huang pushed his leg against the ground to dash forward. However, before he made the first step, in a minute fraction of a second, a larger-sized bullet compared to the one Song Yu plays daily, hit him on the left side of his chest. It left a tiny wound after bounced off and pushed him back a little bit. But Ren Huang didn't have the time to think about how much pain it caused as he was hit around the same spot 107 more times in a row in just 4 seconds. Thud. Ren Huang just fell on his back and stayed motionless. Ren Huang. Song Yun screamed in worry, but his bodyguard never moved from the spot. The inspector quickly backed away in panic while the 4 Circle Realm guards that were supposed to arrive and take away the injured body halted in their tracks. Ding! The next batch of 12.7mm ammunition is being reloaded automatically. Okay, cool. At the very least, I confirmed that I can kill a 5 Circle Realm guard by firing a batch. Right then, a doubt emerged in his head. Is he really a 5 Circle Realm warrior? He fell into thoughts. Ren Huang's earlier attacks indeed show that he might be in the 5 Circle Realm, but Mark doesn't know for sure. To confirm his suspicions, he aimed the machine gun towards the other guards who longed gave up on attacking the tank and went into spectator mode. As the gun turned towards the group of guards, a few of them raised the shields to block while the others just escaped from the spot. One of them is named Mao Lan, who was a newcomer. However, he was an employee not because he took the test but because of the connections. As soon as Mao Lan saw the defeat of Steward Bai and bodyguard Ren, he decided to run away. Unfortunately for him, Mark already locked him as the target. Mao Lan didn't know that the machine gun was turning around towards where he was running away. Mark pressed the trigger. Bang! His skull was pierced from behind and he fell on his front. Instant spot dead. The guards panicked even more. Whoa, now that was cool. On the other hand, Mark was quite impressed with the machine gun controls. In his eyes, it was more impressive than the cannon and grenade launcher. Both of them have high explosive power, but what's the use? They have quite an amount of drawbacks when dealing with low-level spirit warriors like the ones around. With one of his objectives fulfilled, Mark switched the seats to the far right one. Now, it's the time to show the might of grenades. As the grenade launcher was aimed towards Song Yun, who was standing at the main entrance door of the mansion, the soldiers immediately came forward with shields to protect him while gripping their hearts in fear. However, to their surprise, the grenade launcher didn't launch any attack. Instead, the entire tank slowly reversed, getting far and far away from the minister. It stopped after a while. Song Yun wondered out loud, what is it going to do now? Looking at them through the screens, Mark mumbled to himself. The deaths of soldiers can be covered and forgotten easily, but Mansion is different. Everyone should know the price Song clan had paid for their arrogance. Boom! The grenade launcher suddenly fired the ammunition towards the second floor of the mansion. 5 minutes later. Boom! Another grenade blasted onto a part of the ground floor, destroying the huge window. The Song mansion was now full of huge holes. There were flames everywhere. Several bodies of guards and prefects were seen lying on the ground while the spectators are watching from the outside as if they were watching an exhibition. For some, it was curiosity. For some, it was an amusement. For some, it was fear. For whatever emotion it might be, one can say that the street was filled with people. No one dares to step inside to not turn into dead bodies. Having enough of it, Song Yun screamed at top of his lungs. Stop it! Who are you? What the hell do you want? Let's talk in peace, okay? As soon as Song Yun stopped threatening and shouted for peace, the door at the front opened and Mark climbed up, revealing only his face. It's you, after all? Song Yun gritted in teeth. Giving a cold gaze to the minister, Mark said, "Told you so. You will regret displaying your arrogance." Chapter 38, Song Yun's strongest trump card. I will not leave you alive. Song Yun couldn't stop shiver in anger. His eyes turned red while ether energy was erupted and covered him like armor, but what's interesting is that a few experts who were just enjoying the show have a look of surprise on their faces. Minister Song is in the 6th Circle Realm. He broke through. What was he doing until now, then? Is it a fake realm? An effect of a pill? Numerous thoughts were going through the minds of these intermediate realm experts, 4th Circle to 6th Circle. The elite soldiers who were deployed by the palace side in relief. What could they do against a metal puppet that seemed indestructible from 5 Circle attacks and could kill them within seconds? What's more, the controller seemed to be hiding against this turtle shell. Their hope rests on Song Yun. If he destroys the thing, then they can return peacefully. If Song Yun gets killed, then they can report that they weren't a match that killed a six-circle realm expert. Either way, they will be safe from getting punished for not doing their job. Mark stared at Song Yun. Originally, he doesn't want to come out, but for the mission to succeed, the minister needs to know his identity. He didn't expect that he was getting intimidated by the energy swirling around his enemy. Since only his head and neck are out, so the people couldn't see that his whole body below the neck is involuntarily shuddering. Taking a deep breath, Mark continued to maintain his expression of coldness and said, "Be careful what you wish for, Minister Song. This is just a tiny retaliation for your warning to me. Now, whether you peasants still dare to speak in that tone after humiliating the name of my Song clan? I'll roast you alive, today." Song Yun, overwhelmed in anger, pushed his leg against the ground and dashed towards the tank, all alone. "Well, I guess it's your wish then." Mark then glanced at the mansion with more than 20 openings. At the entrance door, apart from the guards and Song Yun, there was a beautiful woman in clothes made of silk. It's his wife or sister, maybe? What about my golden goose? I hope she isn't hiding inside. I don't want to kill her by accident. But then, again, in this situation, anyone who stays in the building will only die sooner or later even if I leave them alive. There's no need to do business with such foolish people. He locked the door and went back to the seat. System, open creation gallery. He clicked on the 120mm ammunition. Create. Ding. 120mm ammunition has currently a 53.24% success rate. Proceed? Ding. You failed to create K3. 2 low-grade ether crystals have been added to the debt. Success rate increases by 5.32%. Again. Ding. You successfully created K3. 2 low-grade ether crystals have been added to the debt. Please check your inventory. Thank goodness. Mark quickly sent it to the storage chamber and gave an order to Alan through the wired communication device. Instead of firing, Mark decides to create again while waiting for his enemy to arrive. By the time Song Yun arrived, Mark created a second one. Suddenly, a powerful punch was landed on the tank from the front, making a huge dent and even pushing the tank for a whole foot. Mark felt tremors inside and he almost fell down from his seat. Thankfully, he managed to keep his balance while checking the new notification. Ding! The durability of Battle Tank V reduced by 2%. Whoa, that's high. Mark was really surprised to see it fell from 86 to 84 with just one punch. I guess his 6 circle. Okay, I guess I didn't have enough time to play around. Mark no longer hesitated about the price and attempts. He started to create one after another. On the other hand, Song Yun was shocked to find that even his strongest punch was useless against this piece of metal puppet vehicle in front of him. Moreover, some of his own force was also rebounding back to him. So, like the previous ones, he too felt the pain in his wrist. After throwing 10 more consecutive punches, Song Yun's hand is red. He decided to use his strongest skill, but before that, he jumped and somersaulted a few more times and increased the distance to around 60 to 70 meters. Combining his attribute power along with his ether energy, he generated 100 spears imbued in electricity. They are now floating above his head as if waiting for an order to strike down the enemy. The spectators went into a daze. They never knew that this politician was this strong. What was that? Mark paused for a second. He saw the skill was really flashy and powerful. Let him try. Being confident in the durability of the battle tank, Mark continued with his creation. Die! Song Yun roared as he motioned his arm. 100 lightning spears bombarded the battle tank, making dents and scratches all over. The tank was also getting pushed by an inch for every spear that hit it. In the meantime, Mark started receiving notifications of a reduction of 0.1% durability, eventually taking over 10% in the end. The battle tank no longer looked as new as it was before. It was now full of dozens of dents and scratches. No way! Song Yun's eyes widened. His ultimate attack did nothing as he expected it to be. Just what in the hell is this made of? Who is that BD that made it? He could only curse out to vent out his frustration. On the other hand, Mark received another notification of success. Him, for is not enough. Song Yun then took out a sky blue pill with clouds on it. I guess I have no choice. I need to bet everything on this high-quality cloud pill. He swallowed it without hesitation. Within seconds, natural energy in the surroundings started to gather into his body. An aura of blue energy appeared over the usual red ether energy. His wife, who was standing outside the entrance door under the protection of the guards, became worried. But she knew that she isn't in any position to stop the fight, and his prideful husband isn't the type to back down when the opponent is especially from the commoner background. After hearing the entire matter from the guards, she could only hope for her daughter to arrive soon. It isn't that difficult for Song Yu to not hear of this attack even if the Lin Mansion is more than 20 miles away from Song Mansion. The only issue is whether she would arrive on time or not. Song Yun raised his hand above his head. Clouds slowly gathered above the Song Mansion, blocking the sunlight. Suddenly, a lightning bolt descended onto Song Yun, or more specifically, onto his right hand. Ah! Song Yun screamed in pain, with his hand slowly getting burnt despite being protected by his own ether energy and natural energy. However, consumed in rage, he doesn't seem to care about the issue. Dear, no! Stop it! His wife screamed, but it didn't reach his ears. His hands continued to draw the lightning, and a sphere was about to take shape. It formed more than half, and almost his entire lower arm is facing a third-degree burn. The hell? One of the spectators couldn't hold his astonishment. Thankfully, the crowd outside was quiet and no one paying attention to this Nai Clan spy. Chapter 39. The powerful 120mm ammunition. While Song Yun was preparing for his ultimate trump card, Mark, on the other hand, was busy with his usual weapon making. Okay, now that's the sixth one. He was ignoring the flashy skill happening on the outside and was completely concentrating on creating the ammunition. As the tank is blocking his senses, he wasn't realizing how powerful it is. So, Mark was calm. Just as he was about to make another ammunition, the system sent a warning. Ding! Warning: the power gathering by the enemy will cross the limits of the durability of Battle Tank V, resulting in the host's and the android's death. Interrupt the spell. What the? Seriously? Mark suddenly stood on his feet in shock. Ding! The enemy is gathering natural lightning, which is far powerful than ordinary lightning generated by ether energy. You have 16 more seconds to stop it. FK! Mark quickly took his seat and turned his cannon in the direction where Song Yun was standing. He locked on the target. Ding! Target is within the 4 kilometers range. Target has been locked. Boom! As the cannon shot the heat projectile, Song Yun gritted his teeth and put forth his left hand forward to block the attack with the palm, as he can't afford to dodge while the spell isn't complete. He unleashed a red and blue large shield, consuming his ether energy at a rapid pace. 3/4 is complete. Just a few seconds more. Ah! By using another technique and wasting ether energy, the blue and red armor around him thinned and his pain intensified. The projectile hit the shield target at a blazing speed, creating an enormous amount of explosion. The crowd stepped back involuntarily in fear. The energy shield managed to block most of the damage, but not completely. He was still caught up in the explosion and blasted more than a dozen meters away. The dark clouds dispersed from the sky along with the disappearance of lightning. Spitting out a mouthful of blood, Song Yun glared at the tank in extreme rage. I'm the head of the Song clan. How dare a mere peasant? Mark shook his head. High-headed people like these really need to be beaten to near death. He pressed on the trigger without waiting for his sentence to finish. Boom! Song Yun tried to attempt dodging by jumping to the side. Unfortunately for him, there was a target locking feature available even for the cannon. The heat projectile changed its direction in the midway and hit him directly on the chest, triggering another explosion. This time, Song Yun was blasted all the way towards the wall and crashed on it, falling on the ground while cracking the wall. What the hell? That was a heat projectile, not a fuck missile. How did it change in the midway after being fired? Mark was an arms designer himself. Naturally, he knew that it doesn't make sense. He thought the locked feature indicates the weapon, not the ammunition itself. Ding! System controls its pathway. Ah! I see. If the system is involved, then it was possible. There are many things Mark was curious about. For example, how could it create things out of the air without any raw materials? Why does it take a 90% fee from every weapon that sold him? What's the use of gold coins for the system? Why does the system sometimes behave like an AI, and sometimes like a real human? Who could have built such a system? Certainly not a god, as the system confirmed to him that she was created by a bunch of maniacs from a faraway galaxy. He doesn't have any answers, and neither does the system give him, apart from telling him that he should upgrade the system to get the answers he needs. But one thing was for sure. He was thoroughly impressed with its ability. If the cannon's locked feature works like this, then it would be the best. System, why didn't you tell me before about the features of cannon? Ding! The host never asked. You son of... Ding! System detecting an obscene language directed at it. Host must control himself or else will be subjected to a penalty of 100 gold coins. Clenching his fist, Mark took a deep breath and asked it about the grenade launcher in a calm tone, to which the system answered that it is only available for one secondary weapon. As it asked whether he wanted to change the locking feature from machine gun to grenade launcher, Mark rejected it and then placed his attention once again on Song Yun. He was still alive? It must be the doing of that blue energy. With heavy injuries all over his body, Song Yun managed to get himself with extreme difficulty. Well, never mind. Mark shrugged his shoulders as if it doesn't matter. If two wouldn't do the job, then how about one more? Ding! Target is within 4 kilometers. Target has been locked. Just as he was about to press the trigger, Song Yun raised his hand and spoke almost in a whisper, "Fine, you win." Unfortunately for him, Mark couldn't hear it as his voice was too low and it was barely a whisper. What is he talking about? He didn't give up? Well, then. Boom. Ding. You completed the main objective of the emergency quest. Return to the store to acquire the rewards. As soon as he pressed on the trigger, the system sent a notification. However, it was a bit too late as the heat projectile was already launched and struck him once again. This time, he not only crashed onto the cracked wall. As the part of a wall was destroyed by the force, he was buried under rubble. Dear! His wife screamed and ran forward. The guards followed her. Without caring about Mark's presence, they started to search for the minister. However, unlike them, the others were extremely aware of the tank's presence. So, no one stepped forward. Upon seeing the demise of a six-circle spirit warrior with their own eyes, they don't have the courage to step inside. One of the elite soldiers rushed towards the palace to inform their general. Now, if this person will go rampage in the city, only 7 circle generals could stop him. In the meantime, as Mark became a silent observer, the elite guards managed to find Song Yun and brought him out. He was drenched in blood from top to bottom but was still alive and found to be coughing the blood. As they are carrying him away, the door on the top of the tank once again opened and Mark's head popped up. Wait! He shouted. Everyone shuddered in fear as they stopped and turned towards him. Song Yun's wife stood in front of him, trying to act as a shield by herself. The only reason I'm sparing him isn't that he's from a major noble clan or has a super strong cousin. It is because his daughter is a regular customer at our store. Tell him that. After giving a message in a calm tone, Mark then changed his tone to give a stern warning. Tell him that this incident is over right now. If he comes to his senses, then, maybe, in the future, your daughter will probably get the privilege to buy these battle tanks. If he still pursues revenge, then, next time, there won't be any mercy. There won't be one battle tank before you. There will be 100 of these. Whether he wants me to sell these battle tanks to the Song clan or use them against the Song clan will depend on his behavior. Oh, by the way, this old man's still alive. Treat his injuries. He pointed at the unconscious steward who was losing blood for a while. After that, he closed the door and sit in the driver's seat, before driving away towards the entrance gate slowly. As soon as they saw the vehicle coming towards them, half of the crowd just dispersed and the remaining half stood aside silently and gave the way. Miles away from the Song mansion, a carriage was pulled by two greyhounds at a fast speed. Inside the carriage, there were two people in masks and robes, tightly holding Song Yu, whose legs and hands were tied up and her mouth by a cloth. Chapter 40. Song Yu was abducted. Lin Mansion, Imperial City. Song Yu was reading a popular romantic novel while Lin Shui was busy with her sword training. All of a sudden, a couple of soldiers rushed into the training ground, interrupting Lin Shui's training. What is it? She was annoyed that her training has been interrupted. A frown appeared on her face. Milady, something bad happened. One of them proceeded with reporting to her about the incident that happened at Song Mansion. Song Yu, who was nearby, stood up in shock. She immediately rushed towards him. What happened? Tell me the details. The second soldier explained everything from the appearance of a unique moving metal vehicle or puppet to its sudden rampaging within the Song Mansion's compound, heavily injuring the minister. My father is gravely injured. A look of panic appeared on her face. Shui, I have to go. Wait, I'm coming with you. As Lin Shui offered to come along, for some reason, the soldiers were troubled and looked at each other before one of them hurriedly bowed his head. Lady Lin, the city is in chaos right now. Your presence might attract enemies. If anything happens to you, our heads will be rolled on the ground. Don't worry. Yao Ling will follow me. Lin Shui assured them that with a six-circle realm expert sitting beside her, she'll be safe from any ambushes and she doesn't need their protection. As soon as the two soldiers heard the name, their faces stiffened for a second before one of them directly kneeled before the heiress of the Lin clan. Milady, I beg you. We got a report that Lord Song was confirmed to be a six-circle realm. Even he was brought to the brink of death. We don't know whether this fiend will launch against you. If something happens to you, our heads will be rolled off from the ground. While Lin Shui thought about her father's character, she felt like it might be possible for the Minister of Personnel to show his wrath on the guards. Lin Shui didn't consider it, but Song Yu thought of the possibility of the third prince's anger on the poor soldiers. She felt pity for them. So, when Lin Shui tried to insist that she will come in secret since Song Yun is also close to her, Song Yu told her that she will go alone. After everything gets cooled down, you can visit my father. What are you still waiting for? Let's go. Song Yu impatiently told to the kneeling soldiers to hurry up and prepare the carriage for her return. She thought she would be fine if she aboard a normal carriage and let the soldiers accompany her in civilian clothes. However, she didn't expect that as soon as the vehicle crossed Valley Street, the carriage suddenly stops and the soldiers enter the cabin without her permission. What are you doing, Dave? Her mouth was quickly closed by one of the soldiers before taking control of the situation. The carriage continued to move while the Lin clan soldiers managed to abduct the Song clan heiress. As for why they did this? It's because they were originally spies of the Nai clan who were planted at Lin clan's mansion long ago. For 5 years, they have been serving like normal security guards, accompany Lin Shui, and sometimes, her younger brother or her mother, and gained considerable trust from everyone. Their actual mission is to abduct either of the children of Lin Wuing and use them as a bargaining chip for the Crown Prince's kingship. Nai Rugang, upon receiving the news of the attack on the Song clan, thought that it's the best time to mobilize them as his earlier plan might take several years. After all, the king himself is super healthy. Unless the king will be assassinated, it will be impossible for the Crown Prince, Shang Zishi, to claim the throne. So, he acted right away. As for what he will be getting in return, it is his resignation from his post. When Song Yun retires, then, someone from Song clan will have to take over his position. Despite women having several rights in the Imperial Empire of Phoenix, like even becoming the head of their respective clan, no woman was ever appointed as a minister in the royal court. In fact, except for the current Empress, Empress Dowager, maids, and dancers, no other woman irrespective of their position is even allowed to step inside the courtroom. This thing hasn't changed in the past 3,500 years and probably will not change as long as the Shang family rules the empire. It means that Song Yu cannot hold the post of the minister after her father resigns. He doesn't have other heirs too. The most ideal candidate would be Song Chang, who is the elder brother of Song Yun and is currently working at the Central Secretariat, a department responsible for drafting policy. The biggest advantage of Nai Rugang here is that Song Chang is in cahoots with Nai clan. It was mainly because of the previous clan head's decision of making Song Yun his successor despite Song Chang is the eldest. Song Chang hates Song Yun and most likely will strengthen the Crown Prince's faction once his appointment will be finished. After the two spies rode for 20 minutes, they successfully crossed the inner sector of the city and reached the outer sector where the poorer section of the society lives. Both of them were now even more alert with how bustling the streets are. So, they made sure to knock Song Yu out and constantly keep an eye on her as the horse carriage slowly made its way towards the outskirts. According to the orders they received, a man will be waiting for them at the shores of Lake Beihai, located in the western part of the outer sector. That person will replace the coachman and takes the carriage to the hidden lair where they will keep Song Yu hostage until the Nai clan's work is done behind the scenes. Everything was fine without any disturbance until they reached the lake shore where twin dragon statues are located at the entrance of an abandoned millennium-old temple. It was the place where their helper should be waiting, but instead, there's a huge battle tank is parked with an android sitting on top of it with his arms crossed. He has a sword placed with him. Target found. His eyes glowed in red upon discovering the carriage. He leaped towards the carriage and slashed the sword. The neck of the poor horse rolled on the floor, scaring the hell out of the coachman, who is nothing but a civilian without any fighting prowess. The coachman screamed and ran away in fear.